What is up, everyone, and welcome to some more F1 23 My Team Career Mode. We are here for the final round of Season 3 of this career, and we are currently sat, I believe, about 5 points ahead of Alpine in the Constructors Championship, and we're going to need a good result here in Abu Dhabi in order to have any chance of beating them. But here's the kicker. We do not really have a gearbox which I'm 100% sure is going to go the whole distance. Yes, these ones are saying they probably will make it to the end, especially this one. You know, it's got apparently 180 laps left in it, but once things pass 75% wear, you can never be so sure. So I think the plan is, for this one, we're going to use one gearbox for practice, and then I'm going to switch gearbox for qualifying, and then we're going to use another gearbox for qualifying and for the race. So we are going to be, gunning for whatever result we need to beat Alpine. That is all I care about. You know, as long as they don't outscore us by enough points that they finish ahead of us in the Constructors Championship, frankly, I couldn't care less where they finish. It is literally just going to be a case of, can we score enough points to beat them in the Constructors Championship? That is the aim. If they finish out the points, I don't care if I finish outside the points. Nobody else in the Constructors Championship can even hold a candle to us. I'm pretty sure the next team has 2 points after them, so they're not catching us, and we can't catch anyone ahead of us either. It is literally just all to play for between us and Alpine for P6 in the Constructors Championship. There's not really much going on in the Drivers' Championship. I don't think I can catch whoever's next, which I believe is Charles Leclerc. It is feasible that possibly Kevin Magnussen could still beat me to P8 in the Drivers' Championship, but it's probably unlikely. So yeah, this is basically our sole focus today, is just going to be scoring enough points to beat Alpine in the Constructors Championship. I think I've said it enough times now that we all know what the deal is. But anyway, on other topics, this is going to be Dennis Hauger's last race with us. He's been here for 2 whole seasons. He's been pretty decent, but generally quite mediocre. Not been putting in the performances I was hoping that he would be putting for the team, but you know, it is what it is. We've got a short list of drivers who we're thinking about getting in his place. We've got Tsunoda, who is probably our #1 driver, I would say, that we want to sign in his place. We've got Ocon and Gasly, who are probably sort of my 2nd and 3rd picks, I would say. And if none of those go according to plan, then I don't know what we're going to do. But hopefully it won't come to that. So yeah, this is a track that I don't tend to do particularly well in. But it's not too big of a deal, hopefully, just as long, like I said, as we can outperform Alpine. I don't need to win. I don't need to be on the podium. I just need to stay ahead of the blue and pink cars. So yeah, I'm just going to try and maximize my performance. Our practice pace was good. Will it translate to qualifying? We're about to find out. Now, you may have noticed I actually didn't change my gearbox in time for this one. That was a mistake, and so I changed it as soon as qualifying started so I didn't break Parc Fermé. Basically, I just forgot how Parc Fermé worked, and I realised I would have got a penalty for changing my gearbox anyway. So we did 1 flying lap in Q1. It was a 120.8. It was good enough for P6. We are through to Q2. No headaches there. We do seem to have pretty good pace, at least over 1 lap here. So, yeah, it wasn't too much of an issue to only do 1 run there. Hauger was there down in P14. He's maybe going to need to pick up the pace at least to get ahead of those Alpines, hopefully. Meanwhile, the eliminations here: Lawson, Albon, Fittipaldi, De Vries, Joe, and Tsunoda. Tsunoda has really been fundamentally disappointing pretty much ever since I mentioned that I had an interest in signing him. But, you know, maybe he's just going through a slump. Maybe if we sign him, maybe he'll suddenly be the GOAT. But who knows. Regardless, it is now time for Q2, and this time we did do 2 flying laps. Our first flying lap was on a used set of soft compound tyres. It was the one set that we ran from Q1, and we crossed the line to do a 121.1. Hopefully we can get a bit of improvement on that. I would wage to say that that's going to be sort of on the cusp of getting through or not. Not quite sure, but we will see. We'll see what we can do on a set of fresh soft compound tyres. We're down in P11, so we do need to improve, but we are currently rocking it 6/10 faster than our lap in on the used set of soft compound tyres. So I think we should be absolutely fine as we improve up to 7 tenths faster and 8 tenths faster. I think that this is going to be more than good enough. Stroll there in 9th is on a 120.9. We cross the line, we do a 120.2. We are through quite comfortably. It's P3. Decent, happy with that. Hopefully we can give a similar level of performance in Q3 as well. Did Hauger make it through? No, he didn't. He's out in P14. But what puts a smile on my face is seeing that Gasly and Ocon are both out in P11 and 12, and Alpine will not be starting in the top 10 for the following race. They join Kevin Magnussen, and because I forgot to scroll down, I can tell you that the other two cars were Hulkenberg and Sargent in P15 and P16. Not sure if respectively or not, but both of the Haasers were the only other cars in that session, so therefore they're both out. And yeah, we are going to be trying our best to get as high up the grid as we can here in Q3. On a used set of soft compound tyres, we do a 120.6. That's a pretty strong lap for a used set of soft compound tyres, I can't lie. But hopefully we can go even faster once we go onto a fresh set of soft compound tyres. You'll have seen Norris doing a 119.8 there. That's going to be a hard time for us to beat, especially as when we go into the final sector. We're only sort of 3 or 4 tenths up at the moment. So, yeah, apparently we had a lot of time to save in the final sector, I'm discovering, as I move through these corners and we make up, 3 tenths through those few corners. And by the time that we come to the finish line, we get a little bit wide in the exit of the final corner, but we are into the 119s, and that is good enough to put us in P2. Hell yeah, I'll take that. We didn't beat Norris, but we beat everybody else. And, I mean, I think they're all scrapping over Drivers' Championship positions. I think maybe there's still a scrap for the secondary places in the Constructors. Mercedes obviously wrapped up everything for the Drivers' and Constructors' Championship. Valtteri Bottas, who is retiring from Formula 1 at the end of the Grand Prix. He will be going away from Formula 1, a world champion. Nobody can surpass him. Nobody can surpass Mercedes in the Constructors' Championship. And, well, Charles Leclerc is going to have his work cut out to surpass me in this rivalry. If we win this, we will be going up to 99 difficulty. I have never done an F1 career mode that high before, apart from one time many years ago when I tried it on 100 difficulty, and I think I lasted about 2 races before I realised that I absolutely was not cut out for it at that time. So clearly my skill has increased since that time, or maybe they've just made the AI easier, who knows. But yeah, from P2 on the grid, we have a decent chance to try and fight for the win in this race, but whatever we do, we just have to stay ahead of Alpine. We'll see what we can do as we get into the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
It's the final chapter of the season then here at the spectacular Yas Marina circuit. It's a race where the pole sitter failed to finish in 3 of the first 4 events. A front row start here is by no means a guarantee of victory. We go into battle once more then as we get underway at the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. The drivers will be racing here at Yas Marina circuit through 21 corners and a lap distance of around 3.4 miles. There are a few opportunities to pass with long straights and DRS zones in 2 places, turns 8 and 11. Plenty of close racing then, plenty of speed and plenty of drama to be found in the laps ahead. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. Lando Norris put in a fantastic lap yesterday, and he will start from pole position. And Robinson completes the front row. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Verstappen, Bottas, Perez, Russell, Oscar Piastri, Leclerc, Stroll, Sainz, Gasly, Ocon, Magnussen, Hauger, Sargent, Hulkenberg, Liam Lawson, Albon, Fittipaldi, Joe, Tsunoda, and Nick de Vries. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today. With the Grand Prix nearly upon us, Anthony Davidson is by my side once again to offer his perspective. Why don't we start by talking about Valtteri Bottas? And we welcome Anthony Davidson to the commentary box. And we're looking at the champion. They are on some run. What a season for them.
I agree it's been a truly impressive season. But championship or no, I don't think they'll be gently cruising around to the finish line. In fact, with points no longer a concern, there's a lot less to risk. So we may even see a more aggressive approach.
Okay, mate, final day of the season. Everybody in this entire team has worked incredibly hard to give us the chance to get a good result today. I need you to...
Shut up. Let me get on with the race. Why does he need to talk so much? Come on, man. The subtitles completely misled me there as well. I will be honest with you, after 69 videos, I think I can be honest with you. I think you guys are real ones who aren't going to abandon me if I say this. I actually record these videos without the audio turned on. I like to listen to music when I do them. So yeah, when I see subtitles that look that long, I'm going to assume that he's not going to be saying a whole soliloquy. But in any case, we definitely, if you've been watching these videos, you will know we get good starts every single time. We definitely can jump Lando Norris and take the lead of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix here. I know it, you know it, Lando Norris knows it, at least he would if he was anything more than a computer. And the lights come on, and the lights go out, and we all knew it was coming. It was the most predictable thing since the ending of How I Met Your Mother, and we are through into the lead of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. I'll tell you what, the ending of How I Met Your Mother wasn't that predictable. I don't know why I used that as an example. Didn't plan this one in advance, and it's showing. We are in the lead of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and now we just have to try and hold on to this for 29 laps. But Lando Norris is not far behind us at the moment. We are burning all the battery we have right now. I came up with a pretty good deployment strategy for these 2 long straights. But nonetheless, Lando Norris looks like he might just have an additional bit of straight line speed. This Renault engine in the back of our car does not have all the performance in the world. It's a wonder that we are switching for next season. But in any case, it doesn't matter. What we've got right now is what we're going to have to deal with for this Grand Prix. Lando Norris is not going to overtake us on this first lap of the Grand Prix, and we can just make our way through into the final sector, and we should be able to stay ahead, comfortable and in control. So yeah, I don't think we're going to be able to hold on to this for the entire race. I could be wrong. You never know. I think if we are going to be holding on to this for the entire race, it's going to come with some extremely strong defending from myself. I don't think that we're going to pull off into the sunset. Traditionally, we don't do that. The AI is a little bit too fast for me to just disappear up the road. But that's good, you know, because that would make the videos predictable and 22 minutes long, and well, they just wouldn't be very interesting, I don't think. So this is much more exciting, I think. It's Lando Norris. He's going to go for a move up the inside as we make it down into the first chicane at the end of that big long straight. And I'm going to try and stay with him, but as we go through the chicane, he is already ahead of me. But what does that mean? Well, it doesn't mean I'm going to have DRS because it hasn't been enabled yet. But if it were any lap other than this one, or the first lap, I guess, I would have had DRS. So we are going to have to do it the old-fashioned way. We use the battery, we try and sweep around the outside of him at the corner, and we just about managed to hold on to the position for the time being. We're still in P1 for now, but I imagine it will only be a matter of time before Norris comes knocking once again to try and take P1 off of me. You know, this is a big deal for him. He's trying to put himself in the shop window, trying to show everyone that he has what it takes to one day compete for a world championship. I wouldn't be surprised if maybe next season, if we are competing for the world championship, that Norris might not be in that fight as well. This man won't be. He's retiring from Formula 1, but that isn't going to stop him from trying to go out, end his career on a high note. Valtteri Bottas, you know, he is the world champion, and you know, he will want to show everyone what a true champion's drive looks like, even when you've got literally nothing to play for. This isn't going to affect him one bit, no matter where he finishes in this race. He could park his car early, put his feet up, but he has still got the fight in him, and he is going to go all the way till the checkered flag, I am sure. So we've stayed ahead of him for the time being, but on the very next lap, he is going to come pouncing around the outside into the first hairpin once again, and we are going to have to do everything we can to try and keep him behind. We just about managed to for the time, but with the DRS, he is once again pulling alongside us, and not only will he, but we're also going to be pressured by Verstappen and by Norris as well. This is 3 people. Both Verstappen and Norris managed to overtake Bottas. We're going to sweep round the outside, which switches to the inside on the exit of the chicane, and suddenly Bottas has gone from looking like he might be taking the lead of the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. He's not even on the podium anymore. Verstappen and Norris are battling over the lead here. I'm going to try and get involved as Norris leads the Grand Prix. We're going to see if we can get round the outside of Verstappen, and we keep our foot in, but we end up losing the back end of the car a little bit, and we just have to back out of that one to make sure that we don't get another track limits warning. We've already had 1. Getting 2 this early in the race would be absolutely disastrous for our chances of not getting a penalty. And then things were calm for a few laps. Then things were calm until about lap 8, nothing really happened. We had a few minor pressures from Valtteri Bottas, but nothing super strong. And then lap 8 came along, and he was ready to fight once again. You know, claws out, teeth out, the whole shebang. No holds barred for Valtteri Bottas. He still wants this race victory. He thinks he's capable of it, but we have the DRS. And he's going to have to wait just a little bit longer to make his way into P3 when we get to the chicane. But he brakes so much later. I don't understand how the AI have such better braking performance. I hear, supposedly, that there is some kind of, I don't want to call it a glitch necessarily, but perhaps a misjudgment on the error on the side of Codemasters, where effectively they've made it so when you get the ultimate brake upgrade, it actually reduces the performance of your brakes for whatever reason, or that there's something upgrade pathway-wise that causes your braking performance to be reduced. Valtteri Bottas did end up, of course, overtaking us there in the end, and now Pierre Gasly, who started outside the top 10, wants to get a piece of the action as well. We're going to have to do everything in our power to stop this man from overtaking us, because if he does, all of a sudden we could be in deep doo-doo. He is, I believe, I'm trying to think. I think Alpine are 4 points behind us in the Constructors Championship, as Piastri actually sees the two of us battling and takes the opportunity to dive up the inside, go for a bit of an opportunistic move there. And I think he's pulled this one off. I think we're a bit too far back from him to get past. But yeah, Alpine, I believe, are 4 points behind us in the Constructors Championship. And so we need to make sure that whatever they do, they don't outscore us by 5 points. If they outscore us by 4 points, I think we'll stay ahead by virtue of the fact that I've had 3 race wins, and I don't think they've had any this season. And I think they use countback for the Constructors Championship as well, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, Gasly, at the moment, he's running in P5, having just overtaken me there. That's 10 points. Ocon is down in P10 by the looks of things. Behind Leclerc, who's currently running in P9, I think. So, or actually there might be, I'm looking at the, no, I think Sainz is down behind an AlphaTauri, looking at the map, as Gasly's sizing up a move up the inside here. He's going to try and go for the move. We're going to try and squeeze him out as we go into the DRS zone, and now I should have the superior straight line speed to carry me ahead of Pierre Gasly by the time we get to this hairpin. Sergio Perez wants to get involved as well, and in the end, we do stay in P5. Gasly is down into P7 momentarily. He's battling with Perez. Yeah, Perez ends up getting the better of him. But as I was trying to say, yeah, Gasly, if he scores 10 points for finishing 5th, if he does manage to overtake us, although Perez is currently the one that's battling with us, and then Ocon scores 1 point, that will be 11 points. And if we score 8 points, then that will be enough. But if we fall 2 positions behind Gasly, or Ocon makes up a couple of positions for whatever reason, all of a sudden we could be looking at maybe the the P7 in the Constructors Championship and falling down that order, which is not what we want at all at this stage of the season. And I'm going to try and do everything in my power to make sure that doesn't happen. So yeah, coming under pressure from Sergio Perez, Pierre Gasly, we do manage to keep them behind on lap 12, and we're actually not too far away from our pit window, just a couple laps out. And in the end, because the tyres were getting worn out, and I was thinking to myself, the undercut in this game is very, very powerful. I've said it so many times, and I will say it again. I decided I was going to come in 1 lap early compared to when I was supposed to be boxing, and we will see if that allows us to get a bit of an undercut on Pierre Gasly, and you know, maybe even get one on Piastri. Maybe we could even catch up to him with an undercut. We'll see what we can do as we pit for hard compound tyres, but we have a pit stop issue. That is the last thing I wanted right now, but that is unfortunately something we're just going to have to try and overcome, a difficulty we're just going to have to try and manage for the second half of this race now, and we will see where we come out in relation to everyone that was behind us, whether we will be able to weather that storm or not, because if Gasly boxes at the end of this lap, I would raise to say he's going to come out ahead of us now. Whereas I think if we hadn't have had that 2.5 second error, we could have been looking at a very different scenario. We're going to have to clear this traffic in front of us, certainly Albon and probably Lawson as well, to be honest with you, with how fast these tyres are going to be compared to 14-lap-old medium tyres. You would raise to say, especially when these guys are significantly slower than us anyway, just due to the nature of the car that they're driving. We are going to have to put in a serious shift here, I think, if we're going to have any hope of making this one work. So, yeah, we are going to try and get ahead of Albon as quickly as we can. We're not quite close enough to do it with the DRS, but we're going to go from a long way back. We're going to move around the outside, and by the time we exit the corner, we are going to be ahead of him. I know he's on old tyres and in a slower car, but I still think that's one of the best overtakes I've made all season, to be perfectly honest with you. We were nowhere near him going into the entry of that corner, and somehow in the exit, we just managed to stick it around the outside of him. We're going to try and do the same thing to Lawson around the outside of that corner, but we have to back out of it, and that's going to cost us some time for the cars that were behind us before we pitted as well. A few of them are coming in now, I believe, including, this is Ocon, Stroll, Leclerc are all coming in. They were definitely behind me before the pit stop phase, and it looks like I am just about going to be making it out ahead of them, but only, you know, not by as much of a margin as I would have wanted. Leclerc is still going to be far enough ahead that he is going to be, or sorry, he's still going to be close enough to me that he's going to be within my DRS range. So, yeah, not quite good enough. Gasly and Perez now have pitted as well. I think if they'd have pitted a lap earlier, they would have come out ahead of me with how close they were before the pit stop phase. But, you know, unfortunate for them that the strategy didn't favour them. I guess in the case of Perez, it made sense because his teammate is leading the Grand Prix. But in the case of Gasly, I feel like he definitely should have had pit stop priority over his teammate who was running in P10 when Gasly was running in about P6 at the time. Doesn't seem to make much sense. Leclerc is trying to pile some pressure on me, trying to make an overtake as we're currently on lap 18, and well, let's see if he is capable of making this move. We're also going to be maybe absorbing some pressure from Pierre Gasly as well. Actually, all of a sudden it's looking like it's going to be him that's going for the overtake. I don't know what happened with Leclerc. He seemed to back out of that one, and we have fallen behind. This is Ocon, not Gasly. I need to remember now, Ocon is the one I'm battling with. So we end up battling both Alpines in this race to keep them behind. This is still a race for P5, of course, but now with Gasly in, I believe, P7 or P8, this actually becomes imperative, because if he finishes P8 and Ocon finishes P5, that's going to be 14 points. And if we score 8 points, that is going to be enough. That is going to be enough for Alpine to overtake us. So we need to keep this one in mind as we fight this. We need to try and hold on as best we can. We kept Ocon behind for the time being, but you can see there is still a big battle raging on. Leclerc is just behind us. He's going to try and size up a move on us and dive down the inside as we get to the chicane. But I'm going to keep my foot in and hopefully we'll be able to stay ahead. I think I might have made contact with him there possibly, but I don't really think that was my fault. He was weaving about all over the place. He needed to give me room. You know, we were side by side. Meanwhile, you can see the Red Bull of Perez and both Alpines battling, scrapping over what I believe is P7 at the moment as well. So, yeah, it's a real situation they find themselves in right now. They need to get ahead of Perez if they want a chance of contending me in the Constructors Championship, and I need to stay ahead of them for my sake as well. They're currently down in 8th and 9th, so they'll be scoring 6 points. I'm currently scoring 10. We should be absolutely fine. If they get ahead of Perez, that'll be 7th and 8th, which will be 10 points, so that will still be good enough. So as long as we've got Leclerc as this buffer and I stay on the Leclerc side of things, we should be absolutely fine, I think. And yeah, if we have a buffer of Perez as well, then that is even better. But the situation can change at a moment's notice. You know, Leclerc was the one putting pressure on us. Now all of a sudden it's Perez trying to go around the outside of us. We break way too deep into the corner. But actually, I think that pays off for us in the end. That gives Perez a compromised run through the chicane. And that is going to maybe stop him from going for a move on us into the hairpin here. We will see. He is 3/10 back. Is that going to be close enough to go for a move? No, it's not. And we have held on to P5 in this race. That's all we need to do. We just need to hold on to P5 for the remainder of these last 5 laps. It'll be 4 laps now, I guess, because we've really survived for lap 25. So yeah, 4 laps left to go in this Grand Prix. Will we be able to hold on to the position? I bloody well hope so, because I don't know what I'm going to be able to do with the money that we get if not. You know, we've saved up enough cash to hopefully get whichever driver we want, attract them over to our team. But obviously, the more money we get means the more facility upgrades we'll be able to do at the start of next season. We're definitely going to be getting that durability upgrade and hopefully a few personnel facility upgrades as well. But obviously, that will only come if we have the cash to facilitate it. And the more cash we can get for Constructors Championship position, the better it will be. The best we're going to get is going to be P6. Bottas actually pitted again there. I forgot to mention that. But yeah, he seemed to pit again for some reason. Not sure why he pitted necessarily. Perhaps he got damaged from his battle with Lando Norris. But all of a sudden that means we're battling over P4 now instead of P5. And I mean, it doesn't really make a fundamental difference because the points differential between myself and Alpine remains the same. If I finish P4 and they finish P7 and 8, they will be scoring, how much will that be? 10 points, and I'll be scoring 12. So that will be fine. That will be enough. If they make their way up into 5th and 6th, they will be scoring 18 points, however. So that will be enough. So I absolutely need one of these cars to stay ahead right now of those two guys. It doesn't matter who. It doesn't matter whether it's Leclerc, Perez. I just need one of them to stay ahead. That's all I need. As long as we score 12 or 10 points and they don't score more than 16, I guess, if we score 12, or 14 if we score 10. That's all we need. That's all we need right now. We've got 3 laps to defend from the man from Monaco here. He makes his way past us as we get into the chicane, but once again we're going to have the DRS, and hopefully maybe our potential future teammate Yuki Tsunoda is going to be a bit of help here as he makes his way out of the way of Leclerc and also out of the way of myself, and we are going to dive up the inside of Leclerc. Very opportunistic there, but we just about managed to make the move work. So yeah, we are up into P28, and yeah, Tsunoda jumps out of our way. He doesn't make life difficult for us. I was hoping maybe he'd make life a bit more difficult for Charles Leclerc. Didn't matter in the end, of course, because we did end up overtaking him. And well, Perez has been battling with Gasly this whole time, and that has allowed us to break away a little bit. So I think really the only drivers I'm going to have to worry about from this point onwards is probably just going to be Leclerc now. Perez I don't think is going to have too much to say. I think he's got his own battle going on with Pierre Gasly, but we will see what happens between those guys. I only have a couple of laps left. I've got this one straight, and then I've got lap 29, and that is the only thing I have to do. But we have lost one of the gears due to excessive gearbox wear, and unfortunately it's 4th gear, which is probably one of the most important gears that you need in a Formula 1 car. It's like losing one of the most important components in the most important of situations. You know, it really is potentially what could be our undoing. It seems like it's come back now, but we did lose it at some point, so potentially we could lose it again. Only 1 lap left to go here in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. We just need to make sure we can hold on from Charles Leclerc for 1 more lap. We should have enough battery to defend from him, hopefully. Let's hope the tyres have held on. I think Verstappen is going to absolutely run away with this race. You know, the championship slipped through his fingers once again. At one point, he was looking like he was going to win it. In the end, it went to Valtteri Bottas, who, as far as I know, isn't even going to score points, or if he is, it's going to be a point at best. So, yeah, not really important for him. Russell kind of fell off as well when he realised his championship was over. He's down either P10 or P12 at the moment. One of the Mercedes is battling with my teammate, and meanwhile, my teammate's teammate is battling with Charles Leclerc, who is now going to overtake and make his way up into P4 once again. It's not going to make a huge difference, of course, because Gasly and Ocon are still down in 7th and 8th. That is going to be 10 points between the two of them, 10 points for myself. As long as I don't fall behind Perez, it doesn't matter. But I would like to get this P4. I would like to beat Charles Leclerc for the sake of the rivalry. We try and brake a little bit late to dive around the outside of him, but we just don't have the grip anymore. These hard tyres have started to wear out a bit as Max Verstappen wins the Grand Prix. We're going to go for an opportunistic move very late up the inside. We bang wheels with Charles Leclerc. I think that was probably fair. Maybe people will say I pushed him out of the way. I'm going to say that one was just about okay. I think any more contact and that would have been an illegal move. But we are going to round the final corner and we are going to take P4 in the final race of the season.
Yes, mate.
Oh boy, what a Grand Prix that was. A fantastic race, a fantastic season. You know, we developed from a back marker vehicle to one of the fastest cars on the grid, and I am very happy with that.
That's it then. They've taken the win here as we wrap up another fantastic Formula 1 season. And talk to me. What do you think it was that sealed the win for them?
Well, they certainly stood out as a drive with tons of confidence on the track. I think their ability to keep their cool, even during some of the more hectic parts of the race, meant they were able to capitalise on the mistakes of other drivers, giving them the opportunity to make their way to the top spot with ease.
Here come today's winners. The team at Red Bull have done a phenomenal job recently. It's clear to see that they've put in the work, and they should be proud of the victory they've secured here.
Max Verstappen wins the final race of the season. I think we all remember what happened when he won the final race of the season in 2020 when a Mercedes won the championship. Maybe this is a sign of things to come for 2026. Who knows? Meanwhile, Oscar Piastri is in P2 and Lando Norris completes a McLaren double podium in P3. Who knows? Maybe those guys will be challenging for the championship next season as well. But one thing's for certain, this has been an absolutely brilliant season of Formula One.
More points for Valtteri Bottas, further solidifying his lead at the top of the table. Let's focus on driver of the day, Anthony Davidson. Who do you pick?
Max Verstappen seemed to just effortlessly weave through the other drivers today without a care in the world. He was definitely my driver of choice.
It's another clear win for Mercedes as they managed to secure the Constructors' title. An incredible performance for the whole team. Well, what an end to another fantastic weekend of racing. Thanks to everyone who's joined us, and we'll see you for the next one.
With that win, Verstappen actually pipped George Russell to P2 in the Drivers' Championship, so that's going to be disappointing for Russell, especially because he finished outside the points, and he finished 1 point behind Verstappen. I think if he'd have even finished 10th there, that would have been good enough. But, you know, you win some, you lose some. George Russell loses out on a World Championship for the first time in this series. You know, he won in season 1, he won in season 2. It's his teammate Valtteri Bottas who claims it in season 3. Meanwhile, you got confirmation there when we looked at the standing screen, do finish P6 in the Constructors' Championship, and I am very, very pleased with that performance. At one point, it was looking like we were going to even struggle to make it to the 100 points target. Towards the end of the season, we really picked things up. I think after Singapore, we really turned a corner in this season of My Team Career Mode. We developed a car that was strong enough to be scoring good points consistently. We got 3 race wins, and we've had a P4 here as well, which was enough to enable us not only, of course, to get that sensational victory in Las Vegas, but also to finish P6 in the Constructors' Championship and to reach that 100 points target that we were gunning for because of that sponsorship bonus. So the sponsorship bonus will be met. We'll be getting a cool, I believe it's actually 9 or 12 million. I can't remember exactly the amount, but we're getting one of those figures from the sponsor, Compass, who I imagine we probably won't be going with next season because I'll be assuming that we will be trying to gun for a slightly more competitive target for the sponsorship bonus next season, but who knows. And yeah, we will be getting however much money you get for finishing P6 in the Constructors' Championship as well. So a really solid performance all season from myself. One thing you may not have seen on the Constructors' standings, I did kind of skirt over it, but I would like to point out, is that we beat Alpine by 6 points in the Constructors' Championship, and Dennis Hauger finished with 7 points in the Drivers' Championship. What does that mean? That means if Dennis Hauger had not have scored those points that he scored this season, such as the 4 points he scored in Mexico and the odd point he picked up here and there otherwise, we would not have won the Constructors' Championship. Oh, sorry, we would not have come 6th in the Constructors' Championship. Let's not big ourselves up too much. You know, we would not have come 6th in the Constructors' Championship. So, yeah, a big shout out to Dennis Hauger for the amazing service that he has done for 2 seasons in our team. I've been very happy with the performance he's put up. All good things must come to an end. However, he didn't quite make the grade. I don't think he is going to be the team, or he's going to be the driver that takes this team to the top of the Constructors' Championship. Maybe we'll be proven wrong. Maybe wherever he goes next, he will find his way into a race-winning drive. But yeah, we will be progressing with somebody else next season. We will, of course, be gunning for the Drivers' Championship, at least hopefully the Constructors' Championship as well. I'll be doing another video where I go over the contract negotiations and the new livery and all of that kind of thing. So I have only one thing left to say, and that is going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed, please make sure you like and subscribe, and hopefully I will see you in the next one.